I've been teaching younglings how to construct lightsabers longer than you've been alive.
Yeah, whatever, Huang. Your paint job's whack, and we've got to give you some eyeballs and fix you up. Hang tight, buddy. Hey everybody, welcome to another video. Today's video is all about lighting our Black Series figures and lighting this Huyang droid. Yes, there's a lot of work to do. We've already painted him. We're working on that video. So like, check in on our nerdiness, subscribe so you don't miss it. Today's about lighting. Let's do it. I just want to quickly go through a quick shopping list, talk about some of the things that we use to light our products. These micro LEDs. Again, this is linked on our shop. What we linked was a pack that comes through with about 10 different colors. So you have your warm white, which is kind of great. It flares yellow. It's really good for droids. It's like our 3PO go-to color. There is a bright white. We find that that is too bright. We use those for like control panels and all that kind of fun stuff. It also comes with your, basic yellows, greens. So now let's kind of go through and talk about the different houses and options. So of course it's ideal if you want to go through and you want to do some soldering. These are one of our favorite little housing units that we use. You can see it takes a little watch battery in the back. You just solder the positive and negatives to this, to the little prongs that they provide, and then we fold them down, and then sometimes we just tack these onto the back of our figures. There is no on and off switch here, so what we do is we insert like a piece of like clear plastic or something just to break the connection so that you're not draining your battery. We find that this one's great if you're doing like a shot where you're shooting at a 3/4 angle or something and you don't really want it to show. Another option that we use is this little casing that has 2 batteries on the back, and this is just kind of good for like tacking on quick things where you don't want to be bothered too much. Again, you could solder this to the back, but one of the little cheat things that we love are these little connectors. So you can see like here, you connect it to your positive and your negative, and you just run your wires right into this, and that's how we're actually going to do Huyang today, because we can actually run the strings and hide this behind. And eventually, when we show you how to drill the holes, we drill them kind of close to the back so that you can just run it straight down to the power source and hide it. So it's great for shoots, or if you're staging them in a diorama, that's fantastic. We are using this power source, 2 AA's on-off switch. We can mock this up. This is also great for dioramas because it's more power. You can do a lot more lights attached to this bad boy and then just feed them all in. And then this can, get greebly'd out or faux finished and hidden somewhere in a diorama. It can be hidden behind a rock, under a rock. We've done that sometimes. And then another small casing, depending on what you're doing, is this guy that takes 2 watch batteries, and you just, same thing. We just run it through. It's a little bit longer of a cord. Another thing that we love and we use all the time are these vice grips. They come with an assortment of different gauges of drill bits and heads. These are used by a lot of hobbyists to drill into plastic, and it's kind of a must-have if you don't have a normal power screwdriver. And even those power screwdrivers usually don't have these fine heads that we need for this project, and we'll show you more about that in a little bit. All right, before we get too ahead of ourselves, let's just check and make sure that we have the right colored lights. Let's test our circuits, make sure that these lights are working, because let me tell you, nothing's more frustrating than getting this whole project done only to find out that you forgot to check stuff and you have one red eye, one blue eye, or that one of them doesn't work. So let's just go through quickly, check the positive negatives, make sure everything's good to go, and then let's start drilling. We're going to just drill out his eyes. We're going to go all the way through the back of the figure. I kind of like to put them at a point, if you will, here and here, so I can just tie him back and run the wires down the back of his back. Now, I showed you this fantastic little plastic drilling doohickey. He's great, but actually, if you have like just a standard, drilling thing, most of the time the bits fit right in here, because it takes a long time to kind of screw these things out. So what you want to do, you have to remember the head. Think of the head of the light itself. You want this to be the same size or a little smaller so it doesn't pull through the back. You'll see. So we're obviously not going to be able to feed all of this wire through, so we're going to have to trim it a little bit. It's not that big of a process, but let me just kind of show you what we're doing here. Go right into the center of the eye, Watch your hands, obviously. So what we're doing is we're just drilling holes all the way straight to the back. You don't want to go too fast because you don't want to heat the plastic up so that it melts the hole or damages the figure. You can see that there's some plastic kind of shooting out of the back, and there'll be some that comes out through the front. That's fine. Just give it a couple of good pushes and pulls and make sure you have a clean hole, good enough that you can feed the light through, and you should be fine. Okay, now it's time to add the lights. This is just a little trick. We picked up this hollow thick gauge needle in our local hobby shop. You'll find this in like the knitting section, the needle point section. And basically what they are is they are thick hollow needles that you can feed these wires through. Even though these are small wires, just remember you have these two exposed pieces of wire you're trying to shove into this small point, and it gets caught up on the plastic. If there's any debris or anything still left in there and you're sitting there trying to jab this through, it just becomes a pain. So we found that this is an easier solution, works for us. So you're just basically feeding it through the needle, and then you pull the needle out of the back of the figure, and it should kind of suck some of the wire through. Yep, and then you're clean. So then you're just gently going to pull the wire through. We're going to do it on the other eye now. And then you clean up the end of the wires, and you plug them in, and you should have a great lit figure. Let's see if it works. We're just making sure that those lights are aligned and they look natural. They're sitting in the right place, and we're good to go. We're going to kind of gently tuck them in where they need to be, and then we have a lit figure. Let's see. Perfect. There we go. Now the last little tip and trick that we have to show you guys is now you want to kind of hold these in place. You can either tack some hot glue on the back, but what we use is this Gorilla Glue clear gel. And what you want to do is you want to drop a couple of points of this gel over the lights and let it kind of ooze down into the surfaces and into the crevices. And what it does is it hardens up, holds the lights in place, and it also diffuses some of the lights and makes it look more natural. So you don't just have these two little shiny dots sitting in the middle of your figure. So we found that this really helps to give a realistic look, and it's worked for us. So now enjoy your figures. Please don't forget to like, thumbs up, subscribe, do all that good stuff. It really helps our channel grow. If you like this content, let us know. Any feedback, add it in the comments. And now, let's enjoy some lit figures.